Hey everybody, this is Darren Sabedra again, Bay Area News Group, Mercury News, East Bay Times, here with Christian Babcock, Joseph Dycus, Nathan Canilao. Night 2 of the high school basketball playoffs in the books for the North Coast section. Nathan made his way out to Hayward to see Moreau Catholic, but you came out of there with a little bit different storyline than you thought you had going in, huh?
Yeah, so I got to talk to they played Head Royce. The game was as lopsided as it could be. I think Moreau won by about 40. Head Royce coach Ryan Dew after the game was pretty adamant that his team shouldn't have been there in the first place. As we know, this is a new format that goes a lot, it's really based off the Max Preps computer rankings, and they got to the 16th seed in Division II and had to play at Moreau, which was a tough game. And yeah, he was very, very blunt. His team shouldn't have been there. He really does think this system is broken. And as I will put in my story, he's been actually tracking. He has a background in tech, for those who don't know, and he's been tracking. He has this big algorithm. He's basically copied the Max Preps algorithm. I don't know how he did it, but he did. And he knew step by step how he needed to go in order for them to get into a favorable division. Unfortunately, they lost to St. Joseph Notre Dame last week. And from what he told me, that really bumped them all the way to the 16. They were around 9, but this loss bumped them all the way down to 16. You got to feel bad for them. They were the 16th seed in NorCal last year. They had to go to Santa Cruz, and Santa Cruz eventually went to a state title game. Now they're the 16 in NCS, and it's just been tough sledding for those Jayhawks. They really couldn't do anything about it, and they got the short end of the stick here for sure.
So they've been burned a couple of times by the competitive equity format. We know that the state CIF has used competitive equity for the NorCals for a number of years now. NCS went all in this year, but they use Max Preps' computer rankings, and nothing against Max Preps and its computer rankings, but I know I've talked to a couple of you guys off air, and I never really even I don't even think I ever took those computer rankings that seriously.
Yeah,
because you see teams in there that you're just like, no, there's no way that team is better. It just made no sense, and I don't know why the administrators or board of managers in the North Coast section, why athletic directors didn't speak up and say, hey, if you're using Max Preps' computer rankings, they're not the most accurate in terms of team strength.
Well, one thing, Darren, I'll throw in here. Head Royce played a very tough schedule. They played San Ramon Valley. They played Oakland High. They played the Kings Academy out in the South Bay. According to Dew, he did that in order for them to get actually dropped lower. But the Max Preps rankings took their strength of schedule. It's a very big deal, your strength of schedules in the Max Prep rankings. And so just because they had a high strength of schedule, it kind of locked them in that Division II-ish bracket, which, if you are scheduling tough, I think the reasonable thinking is that you should probably reward those teams regardless of win or loss. But in the Max Preps ranking system, that does not happen. The harder you actually schedule your rankings, the higher you go. And so even if you are a team like Head Royce, you're kind of going to be locked in a situation like they were tonight.
So do you think that in the future then coaches are going to look at that, what happened to Head Royce, and think, what's the point of scheduling hard if this is the result of it,
Yeah, I would agree. It's not just Head Royce. We saw the same with Doherty Valley. They got bumped out of Open. They had a really hard, I think their strength schedule was much harder than Liberty's in the Open, and they got bumped down to Division I. I believe Salesian girls had the same issue. Really tough schedule, but, they get slid into the 6 in the Open. So I do think, talking to a lot of people, Frank Knight said the same thing. Frank Knight said this is going to deter a lot of teams from scheduling tough.
Well, it makes no sense. Salesian scheduled tough, the girls, and they're in the Open division. Head Royce scheduled tough, and they're in Division II when they thought they probably should have been in Division IV, Division V. Doherty Valley schedule's tough, and they wanted to be in the Open, and instead they get bumped. It's all over the map. It's up, and it makes no sense.
What is the logic of these Max Preps rankings? Like, I guess the question is, what is we can ask? I guess the head voice coach. What is the criteria that these?
Well,
these
I think, yeah, he would be a good person to talk to, but also people at Max Preps to find out how their algorithm works for their computer rankings. Because I mean, we look at Cal Preps' rankings all the time, and I mean, those to me are spot on.
Yeah.
Most of the time. I mean, I have no squawking about Cal Preps' rankings. It's just the Max Preps rankings for certain sports, the computer rankings. Now they also have human rankings there. I mean, the section would be better off using the human rankings. So I think they do have human rankings, or they used to at Max Preps. So anyhow, I mean, we could probably talk for an hour on that, and we want to keep this short. So Nathan, you saw Moreau Catholic, excuse me, win tonight. Christian, you were with us tonight. A few upsets in the North Coast section. I mean, I counted on the boys' side, what was it? 6 double-digit seeds got victories. What stood out to you, Christian?
Yeah, well, I want to thank you for making me aware that you had the boys tonight, which was quite more upset heavy. The heaviest upsets on the girls' side were 2 9-8 games. Both the 9s won, and one of the 9s won by 1 point. So that was pretty chalky. But yeah, I think, like you said, we had 6 double-digit seeds make it to the quarterfinals, and 2 pairs of them will be playing each other. So there will be at least 2 double-digit seeds in the semifinals, which you don't see all the time. So a little bit of NCAA tournament vibes. It's kind of fun to get a little upsets, have a day where it just kind of things turn upside down a little bit. So definitely some surprising results tonight.
Definitely, with Heritage winning over St. Mary's Berkeley. We had Marin Catholic winning as an 11th seed. San Lorenzo in Division 4 is a 13th seed. Windsor at 12, and St. Patrick St. Vincent at 11. And Valley Christian Dublin as a 10 seed in Division 6. Joseph Dycus, you were off tonight, but you're here with us.
Yes.
What are you looking forward to tomorrow as we move into the open division for NCS? And we got some matchups on the boys and the girls side.
So let's start with the boys side. I'm really interested in seeing Dublin Liberty. That is a game. If you told me it was 85-80 final, I'd believe you. I think these are 2 really gifted offensive teams. They like to get up and down. Ceremon Valley Cal. I made the bold prediction about Ceremon Valley last night. With it. So I think SRV wins that one. I'm interested in seeing Salesian. They're the 6th seed. Carondelet, they're the 3 seed. They are playing at Salesian because Salesian won their league. The TCal, Carondelet came in second to SRV. And despite Salesian's up and down play, they actually only lost to Carondelet by 1 point in Carondelet in front of Sabrina Ionescu at the SI20 Classic back in January. So
you're saying we could see a good game tomorrow?
I think we could see a Salesian win. I'd actually I'll give those Baltimore here. I think Salesian will win the rematch.
Nathan, you're going to be in Brentwood tomorrow, right?
I will. I'm going to watch Dublin Liberty, and like Joseph said, I think it's going to be one. I think one team will be high scoring. I don't know if both will. I think Dublin's pretty good defensively, and I like we've been talking about the last 2 nights. We don't really know what we're going to get out of Liberty. They are 24-2, I think, and they did their strength schedule's not great, but we'll see. They can score a lot of points as they did against Deer Valley, closer to 120. But we'll see. I think that's going to be a good one. And then Joseph, you bring up the Salesian Carondelet game. That game was actually the MLK Classic at De La Salle.
De La Salle, yes,
that's right. That's right.
So, but yes, I watched that game. Salesian was down 15 at 1 point in the 3rd quarter, and they came all the way back, and they only lost by 1. So that will be I think at Salesian, maybe it's a different story. I will be watching that one as we are on upset. I think that's an upset watch game. We'll be closely.
I want to also say Piedmont is going up to the North Bay. They're going to play Cardinal Newman in the other girls' first round game. Piedmont, I'm not gonna lie, I did not expect Piedmont to make it into the Open Division this year. They start, what is it, 3 freshmen and a sophomore?
Yep.
So for them to be, in the Open, that's quite an accomplishment by the Highlanders.
Right. Not only in the Open, but also obviously going on to NorCal, because all the teams in the Open divisions make it to NorCal in both the NCS and CCS, which we'll move over to the CCS before we wrap up. Christian, CCS came out with his brackets today. There were no games today in CCS hoops.
No, I have learned that there were no games. So
there were no games today. But what stood out to you the most as the CCS unveiled its brackets for the playoffs that start Friday night with pool play in the Open Division?
Yeah, a couple of things. Nathan kind of alluded to this yesterday. I thought, Christopher and Nathan brought up Kings Academy were 2 teams that I thought we might see in the Open. Neither made it to the Open. In fact, neither made it to D1. I hope I have this right. I believe Christopher is in D2 and Kings Academy is all the way down in D4.
Okay.
So
let me explain real quickly. The CCS goes with enrollment divisions, I believe, after the Open, it's enrollment divisions 1 through 5. So unlike the NCS, which goes straight competitive equity like NorCal, where it's the top 6 or whatever in Open, and then the next grouping in Division 1, and CCS goes by enrollment once they finish seeding the Open. If that makes sense. So floor is yours again. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no. Seeing Kings Academy in D4, good luck to those teams. I mean, whew.
I went Sacred Heart Prep. I mean,
they beat Sacred Heart Prep pretty good.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah, we'll see. I am, that at the alma mater's coming in a little bit here. I think a Christopher Westmont rematch in D2 would be great to see. Those 2 had some great battles this year. And then on the girls' side, I was a little surprised to see Los Gatos did not slide into the Open. I think they are well poised to perhaps win D1 this year. I saw them a little bit before I watched the Los Gatos boys against Palo Alto. They are formidable. They have multiple good post players, and they're going to be tough to beat. So we'll see if they can get a D1 title this year.
Before we wrap it up, I'll open it up to the floor. Will one of the public school boys teams in the CCS Open win a game in pool play? Milpitas opens against Bellarmine on Friday. Menlo Atherton plays Valley Christian on Friday. I believe Milpitas's pool is with Bellarmine, St. Ignatius, and Sarah. And MA's pool is with Reardon and Mitty and Valley Christian.
I'm a little bit more poised to pick Milpitas just because of who is in their pool. I think Milpitas is pretty talented. I just don't see MA. I mean, MA is in a tough pool. Even with Mitty being the final seed, that's a pretty tough team. I'm more inclined to pick Milpitas in this scenario, just because I think they match up a little bit better with like a Bellarmine or Sarah.
I've been really impressed with Bellarmine. We kind of slept on them a little bit this year, and they are coming on strong. They beat Valley Christian last night by double digits, right? Like about 17, something like that. So I wouldn't be surprised to see the Bells playing at Santa Clara University a week from Friday against Reardon.
Wow, over at SI. Wow.
Well, having seen those 2 teams play each other, good luck to Bellarmine if they get there. That's all I got to say.
Bellarmine beat SI last week, right?
No, we're talking about Bellarmine versus Reardon.
Yeah.
So, I didn't say Bellarmine was going to be Reardon. I said they would be playing Reardon.
Yeah.
I think I don't know. I think it's just a foregone. I think I wrote this up in the preview. It's just how much is Reardon going to win these games by? I don't know if it's a question anymore of whether they'll win. Right. I think it's pretty much the case, unless
your item was great. I can't see anybody beating Reardon until I don't even know if anybody's going to beat Reardon. We'll see. Salesian, I'm sure, will be a great test. St. Joe's from Santa Maria, if it makes it into NorCal's instead of SoCal. That'll be a great test. So anyhow, that's probably enough for us tonight. That was, the last night. Well, tomorrow night we also have NCS, and that's it. Then CCS will finally get underway on Friday. Anybody else with one last closing shot before we call it a night? We're all good?
I could just say, I am glad you brought up Bellarmine, because I think, we should not lose sight of, with how good Reardon is, that some of these second tier teams are pretty good. We'll see, who kind of emerges as that second best team in the Open, and, they can put a nice cap around their season. But watching Reardon in person against even a good team like Bellarmine is just quite something to see, because they can, get a dunk whenever they want, get a three whenever they want, shut people down whenever they want. They can throw it off the backboard. I think there were a couple of those. So yeah, they're a purple machine up there in San Francisco.
I think for the most part they got the brackets right, but I will say I was looking when Nathan Christian's schedule came out, was seeing Sacred Heart Cathedral be in the Open division for the girls side. I think they played a very tough schedule, but they also lost 8 out of 10 to end the year. And I do wonder, again, if they're using Max Preps rankings to pick the teams. I know that Max Preps really liked Sacred Heart Cathedral's strength of schedule, and I wonder how much weight that carried.
I don't believe the CCS uses Max Preps. I might be wrong, but I think the reason that they take so long is that they have a committee. They have a meeting with a committee, and unless things have changed, it's possible, but I don't think that's the case. Okay. I think we would have heard if CCS was using Max Preps as computer rankings. Yeah. So anyhow, that's a wrap. Check us out, mercurynews.com, eastbaytimes.com. We'll have covers throughout the entire month-long playoffs. We're into the sections now, and then we go into the regionals in about a week and a half to 2 weeks. So check us out.